Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Bennett from Compass Training. Our goal is to improve the customer experience. Firstly, what is customer service? Find out what a customer wants and give it to them. In today's video, we're going to look at how to empower your team. Why should we empower our team members? Firstly, it will create a more positive work environment, crucial in today's fast-paced world. It also will help to boost morale amongst the team members. Lastly, it will increase productivity within the team, and as we all know, productivity equals higher profits. Let's start by looking at a few ways how you can empower your team. The first point we'll look at today is clearly defined roles and responsibilities. This ensures that every team member knows what their own role and responsibility and function is within their job. They also understand how their role fits into the wider business, into the bigger picture. This will help them to understand what to do if something goes wrong or if a customer needs more information and they can't provide it. This allows a team member to feel that they are bought into the business. They understand what they have to do and they can take ownership for their own actions. The next point is provide training and development opportunities. Now, a good manager will always recognise the strengths and weaknesses within their team, and a good manager will always invest in their staff. You might have someone within your team who is particularly interested in progressing through the corporate ladder one day, so you might see at an early stage that they will need some extra training to do this. Remember, if you invest in your staff, they in turn will be more invested into the business, into your organisation. It also gives them a chance to grow personally as well as professionally. And if you start to give your staff more responsibility, they too will feel more invested within the organisation. The next point is encouraging autonomy. I've managed many teams during my professional career. I always encourage my team members to make decisions and take responsibility for them. We had a bit of a policy in my team where the staff who were on the front line would deal with the customer, and if there was an issue or a problem, they would rectify it, and only would they come and see me if there was a real serious issue, or maybe the customer wanted to see a senior manager. In 9 times out of 10, my frontline staff always resolved issues themselves. This meant that the customers felt that they were being treated with respect and that they were dealing with staff who could resolve any issues there and then, within minutes normally. So always encourage your staff to take responsibility for what they do and for what they're offering the customers. The next point we're going to look at briefly is to set clear goals and expectations. I always expect my team to know what they're doing at the start of their shift and at the end of their shift as well, in terms of handing over to the next shift. I would always say to my team, this is what I expect of you today. These are the goals that I want us to achieve together as a team and individually in your instance. This makes the staff empowered to take on the responsibilities and the roles during the course of the workday. So always clearly define what you want your team to do and always let them get on with it. Try to avoid micromanaging. I never micromanaged any of my team members because that reduces their creativity and it stifles their motivation as well. The next point we're going to look at is foster open communication. As a good manager, you should always create a positive work environment where team members feel like they can come to you and talk to you about any issues or feedback or complaints. Perhaps they have suggestions how we could do things differently or better. Always encourage that creativity and always have an open door policy. It's also a good idea to regularly hold team meetings or one-to-one updates with your team members where they can, again, provide feedback or they can ask questions or make suggestions on new ways of working. And as a manager, always take these on board, because if your staff are on the front line and you're perhaps more in the back office, Always listen to your frontline staff because they're the ones talking to the customers every day. So always take their suggestions on board. They might not all be viable, but at least you can consider them. The next point is recognise and reward achievements. Now, this can be done in various ways. It can be done for the team as a whole. Maybe the team has excelled and smashed their targets, so you might want to take them out for lunch or dinner, or take them away one weekend. You might also have individual team members who have worked above and beyond, or perhaps dealt with a very serious or difficult situation, and they have been empowered to handle it themselves. You might just want to reward that one individual team member. However you do it, it's always really important to recognise what your team do for you and your organisation and reward them as you see fit. This will in turn boost morale. It may also produce a little bit of competition between team members within the team, and something healthy like that as a bit of fun is always a good way to really improve standards within the team. So always recognise your high-flying team members, recognise when your team has done well and smashed targets, and always reward them appropriately. The next point is provide feedback and support. Now, a good manager, like yourself, will always find time to provide feedback and to support your team members individually and as a full team when needs be. It's always really important that you watch your team and measure their performance. Make sure if you're setting goals that they're smart. If you do need to talk to your team members about any aspects of their performance, what I like to do is start with the positive, talk about perhaps a negative or an area where performance or the service can be improved, and then talk again about another positive aspect of their job. This really sort of starts on a high, maybe goes to a little bit of a low, and then back to a high. Always make time for your team if they want to talk to you about any aspects of the work. They may recognise where they have a particular weakness and they might want some extra support. Always encourage the feedback from your team members and always support them and always help them. This in turn will foster this empowerment within your team in the longer term. The next point is delegate authority. Now, this really is the crux of empowering your team members. This is really where you give your team members the authority to take on a particular scenario or a part of their job and let them deal with it, let them take ownership of it. By doing this, it will prove to the staff that you've got trust in them and that you believe in them, that they can do the job that you're giving them to do or the particular task you're asking them to do. Always look at their strengths and play to these strengths. Remember, always train where there are weaknesses and really emphasise the strengths and build on them within the team. The next point is encourage innovation. A good manager will always suggest to their staff to make suggestions to their manager how they can improve the service that they're offering or any aspects of the workplace. Somewhere I used to work used to do this, and if we suggested a new way of working or we suggested new techniques for dealing with our customers, and if that technique or that tip or that improvement feature was taken on board and introduced within the workplace, we got a voucher for a nominal sum of money. But again, it fostered us to think about how we could make the customer experience better, and it encouraged empowerment within the team. So always ask your frontline staff how we can do things differently and better, of course. The next point is lead by example. And this really should go without saying, but a good manager should always be a role model to their team members. This will instill within your team members a sense of duty and what is required and what is expected of them. Now, as a manager, I always lead by example, and I've worked in retail and in the hotel trade for many years. There is no job within retail or the hotel trade that I wouldn't do. And even as a manager, when I was required to roll my sleeves up, I would do that. Again, this comes back to leading by example. Never ask your team members to do a job or a task that you yourself wouldn't take on. This is a really quick one, the next one. Create a positive work environment. Of course, everyone wants to go to work and feel happy in their jobs. They want to come home in the evening and feel like they've done a good day's work and contributed to their job, the organisation, the business. So really, just provide a very inclusive and positive working environment. Treat your staff with respect. You too will earn that respect back. The next point seems very important in this day and age. It is supporting a work-life balance. This really is about understanding and appreciating your team members as individuals, the individuals that they are, and that they have roles and responsibilities outside of the workplace. It's really important to remember that their personal time is very important and very precious to them. So always make sure that when creating a rota or a roster for work shifts, that you take into consideration any things they may have outside of work, any responsibilities to childcare, for example. This again will foster that buy-in to the business. It will make them feel part of the business, not only the team, but the actual organisation. This in turn will make them feel more empowered within the workplace. Always consider their mental health as well, and make sure you regularly check in with your team members that they're doing all right while they're on shift. Really important, really simple thing to do, but so many managers forget to do it. The last point is promote continuous improvement. This really is about encouraging your team to think about how they can continually improve themselves and the service that they're offering within your business. Always create this mindset that we can do better and we can achieve better things. As times move, we too must move with those times. We have to introduce new ways of working. Again, always encourage your team members to think about this in a positive light, not, oh, another thing we've got to do or a different thing we're going to do this week. Always encourage the positive mindset within the team. So there we go. Really simple video today. By empowering your team, you will in turn have a more positive and happy workforce. They will feel more invested within the business, and they too will feel more invested in their job role. And in turn, you will increase your productivity, and you will see the productivity within your team and your department increase. This in turn will lead to happier customers and a healthier bottom line. So I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. For more videos, please do subscribe. Also check out the description for this video. Within there, you'll find a link to our course, which is online and it's available to anyone. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.